Miami Heat have just made a sneaky signing for this team, and it is absolutely perfect, as the Heat have had a glaring hole in their roster going into Media Day and training camp that was going to be really, really problematic. Had a single injury hit, but now we have a huge update regarding this whole situation, and we are going to jump right into it, go over exactly why this move is exactly what the Heat needed ahead of training camp and the regular season, and all the implications it's going to have, as it is going to lead to further moves and decisions by the Heat over the next couple of days as well. And we're going to jump right into that. But before we do that, if you guys are part of that 80% that's not subscribed to Heat Digest, make sure to subscribe for daily Miami Heat updates. We got a lot of great videos coming out for you, and now that basketball is right around the corner, there is going to be so much more updates and uploads on this channel, so you do not miss a single update on the Miami Heat. So make sure to subscribe, but let's jump into the video. There is a lot to go over today, as look, the Miami Heat, they went out there and made a very sneaky move for this squad. Now, the Heat Media Day has came and went, and at the same time, what we're seeing is that training camp is now right around the corner. Things are really going to start ramping up, and there's been a lot of discussions on if the Heat were going to sign a 15th player because of everything surrounding what has been going on and effectively that luxury tax situation. But diving right into it, they did. As free agent center/forward Precious Achiuwa has agreed to a one-year deal with the Miami Heat. Shams Charania revealed this and went on to mention that this serves as a reunion for the Heat's number 20 overall pick in the 2020 NBA draft after Achiuwa's productive stints in New York and Toronto over the last 4 seasons. Now, the Heat have searched for size in the front court to support their star center Bam Adebayo this season. In 2021, the Raptors acquired Achiuwa and Goran Dragic from the Heat in a sign-and-trade deal for Kyle Lowry. Achiuwa has appeared in 320 career games, averaging 7.6 points and 5.7 rebounds. And with the Knicks last year, Achiuwa put up 6.6 points, 5.6 rebounds, 1 assist per game, getting 0.7 blocks and 0.8 steals per game, shooting 50% from the field and 28% from 3. So they move on, and the Heat now have Precious Achiuwa on the roster once again, and this is absolutely huge for the team. I mean, you look at Achiuwa, when he started with the Knicks, he showed really, really good numbers. The man put up nearly 13 points per game, and overall was just super efficient everywhere he went. I mean, he got a ton of rebounds, was putting up a double-double, or a near double-double, I should say, because he averaged 9.5 rebounds per game. Got 1.4 assists, got a block and a half per game, and over 1 steal per game, showing excellent defense in that span while shooting 53% from the field. Now, he wasn't a good three-point shooter, only shooting 28% from 3, but he was starting as a power forward with the Knicks here next to Isaiah Hartenstein, who did give a bit of spacing the same way Bam Adebayo did. The Heat will have instances where they will play Achiuwa and Adebayo together, so Bam's not the only big man out on the court, something he has mentioned that he doesn't love to be, and also Achiuwa was putting down 3.5 offensive rebounds per game. So they do now, the Heat do have now a very, very good offensive rebounding team with adding Achiuwa, while also having Bam and Khalil Ware as well. So it's going to be exciting to watch this, as the rim protection is also going to be incredible for the Heat. Achiuwa fits in really well, giving them another big man who's a versatile player, which is what the Heat have thus far with their big men on the roster. So it's good to see this. It's good to see the way that this has all sort of worked out thus far. And I really do like this move for Miami. I mean, we look at Achiuwa in the playoffs with the Knicks in 2024 when he really got minutes, and he did struggle a bit to be efficient when shooting the ball, but he did shoot 49% from the field, which is not bad, putting up 5.2 points, 4.2 rebounds, and 0.6 assists. Now, his minutes were inconsistent because Mitchell Robinson went down with an injury in the middle of this playoffs. I mean, the man played a couple games against the Pacers before going down with an injury and not coming back for a while. And Achiuwa, in that span, is when he played more of his games. But his minutes were inconsistent from Tom Thibodeau, which is important to note here. So when we look at Achiuwa, we do have to understand that. And when we look at the Heat's depth chart, what we see is a team that, I mean, obviously we don't see Tyler Hero here right now just because he's injured, but obviously Hero's there. He's going to be the starting point guard. But now the Heat, who have very little big man depth, do get a huge addition here, because right now, as mentioned by Hoopshype, the guys who are looking at to play that big man spot outside of Khalil Ware and Bam Adebayo are Nikola Jovic, who I see as more of a small forward or a power forward than a center. There's been some talk about Kashad Johnson playing above his weight, and then also Vlad Golden, who's allowed to play, who's on a two-way deal and is allowed to play around 50 games this season. Outside of that, we see Dane Danger, but he's likely going to get waived as he's on an Exhibit 10 and will likely play for the G League, unless he also gets a two-way contract, which is possible, don't get me wrong, but it's not a guarantee here. So we're going to see what happens there as well. So there is a lot to consider with the Heat right now, and with everyone and their whole depth overall, because we have to figure out a real situation on what they're going to do, and that's something that Eric Spolestra is going to have to decide. Because when we look at the Heat, when we look at what Spolstra's team is going to do, we've thus far seen teams play undersized. We've seen his teams play undersized, and it's worked to a degree. Now, Achiuwa, he is a bit of an undersized big man. He's only 6'8", but he does play much bigger than his size, similar to Bam Adebayo. And since the Heat do have Bam, Achiuwa is a very good replacement off the bench for Bam. So when he comes in, it's still a similar vibe of what's happening. The system doesn't really change as well. And that's absolutely huge going forwards for the Heat. Now, there was talk about Achiuwa for a while joining the team, as Ira Winderman did mention that as often as has been the case, the Miami Heat were looking to their past as a potential answer for a current question. In this case, the Heat had been in ongoing discussions with Precious Achiuwa, the team's 2020 first-round pick, about a possible spot in the team's power rotation, which is particularly limited at center. The Heat rotation at center at the moment features Kel'el Ware, Bam Adebayo, and Vlad Golden. Adebayo has stressed a desire to not be cast at the position, while Golden remains a developmental prospect or project, with his two-way contract limiting him to 50 games on the active roster during the regular season and not being allowed to play in the playoffs. So that's something to consider. While Winderman also continued and said that while the Heat have expressed faith in a power rotation that could also include Nikola Jovic and Kashad Johnson, they also have been in contact with possible additions. Another former Heat center, Thomas Bryant, also remains unsigned as a free agent after finishing last season with the Indiana Pacers. Now, Bryant, last season between the Heat and the Pacers, put up 6.5 points per game, 3.8 rebounds, and 0.8 assists. He did shoot 32% from three and 41% on the corner three, with 51% from the field. However, Bryant recently did sign a training camp deal in Cleveland, so he was not really available. And also the Heat, it seemed like they liked Achiuwa better because they were looking more towards the defense than Thomas Bryant's offense. And they did ultimately decide to move forwards with Precious Achiuwa, which I do think is the right decision if you ask me personally. I am a fan of that. Now we look at Vlad Golden, who is going to be able to play somewhat with the Heat at points, and definitely will, especially when injuries show up. Last year in college, he was absolutely great. He put up 16.6 points per game, 7 rebounds, and 1 assist, shooting 33.3% from three and 60.7% from the field. So he was very, very, very efficient over his three colleges, whether it was Texas Tech, Florida Atlantic, or Michigan, finishing off in Michigan where he had his best college season before the Heat picked him up after the draft. And there's also Dane Danger, who put up 14.6 points, 7.4 rebounds, and nearly 2 assists, shooting 61% from the field with Memphis after the Heat have now picked him up as well. But right now, Achiuwa is the main guy here. He's going to be the one who we look at a lot. And with the Miami Heat, Achiuwa was able to put up 5 points, 3.5 rebounds, shoot 54% from the field as well. So we saw some spark from Achiuwa back in the day. But now he returns to the Heat for the first time after his rookie season. And it's going to be interesting to see exactly what happens next. Because of this, we are going to see the Heat have to waive someone on an Exhibit 10 contract. So it's a matter of who is going to be waived, what's going to happen there. But more moves are coming, so make sure to stay tuned and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss that update or any other update on the Heat. Like this video, turn on post notifications. Have a great day. I'll catch you later.